the woman behind Local Tourist, Alpha Beer, travel and adventure shows. I mean, I have a long history with her. I've known Theresa for a very long time. She has a new book, Living Landmarks of Chicago. She also has gone through a serious health journey that she's documented on social media, all while trying to get this book out. And, Theresa, I just want to say thank you for chatting with me and for being so open.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to see you.
Number one, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Give us a health update.
I feel really good. I actually just had my last chemotherapy treatment last Monday. So I'm feeling great. I mean, I'm just going to keep getting better from here. So, and the last few rounds of chemo weren't that bad. I tolerated it pretty well, I guess. So I feel good.
Now, especially during the journey, people can either be open and share with their family and friends or be open on social media. And you definitely took the journey of keeping your fans and your viewers and your readers kind of afloat as to everything going on. You were also posting, photos as you lost your hair with different wigs with you and your husband. Tell us about why you decided to do that, and the kind of responses you got from people.
Well, I decided to be public because this was such a punch in the gut when I found out. I mean, I had no idea. I went for a routine mammogram, and it's the last thing you expect to hear or hope to hear. And I just, especially with already being in lockdown and being isolated because of COVID, I kind of wanted to uh, take some of the burden off of my husband. And it's like I just wanted to I've always been fairly public about what's going on in my life. Not terribly public, but um, I just felt like one, I know I'm not the only one going through this, obviously, and maybe I can connect with others who might be experiencing the same thing or something similar. Um, I mean, like I said, when you do get that diagnosis, it's a punch in the gut, and you just don't expect it, and you don't know how to process it or deal with it. And there's so much information out there that it's overwhelming. So I thought, this is my story, and I'm going to share it because one, it may help people, and also it helped me. I mean, from the first time I got the diagnosis, and then I just posted on Facebook, "Hi, I have cancer." And the outpouring of love and support was just I mean, it was unbelievable. Strangers, friends, loved ones, acquaintances, people I haven't spoken with in a decade were reaching out saying, "What do you need? How can I help you? We're here for you. You've got this." And it was the biggest boost I could have ever hoped for.
Now, as far as the wigs, like, did you already have these in your house? Did you have to go out and buy them? What was the process of getting? Did you buy them on a weekly basis?
No, I had four. The cancer center where I was treated, they have a little shop, and it's people will donate wigs and companies will donate wigs. And so my nurse navigator had selected four. Well, not realizing I ended up trying all of them on. Well, because of COVID, they couldn't take them back. Which I think they expected that anyway. She's like, "Fine, don't worry, take them. You need wigs anyway." Well, then the other eight, a friend of mine she had all the fun, crazy wigs, like the big, huge white wig and all the red, all the crazy ones. And she let me borrow them. And I knew she had wigs. I reached out to her. I was like, "Hey, Meryl, I'm thinking about doing this 12 wigs of Christmas, just kind of have some fun with my bald head." And she's like, "Absolutely." So she drove I live in McHenry County. She drove all the way out here, brought me the eight wigs, and with my four and her eight, we had 12.
What do you want people to know, especially, during a time when, you couldn't have friends and family in the hospital with you, probably couldn't have people back at home with you because of COVID restrictions, about going through something like that in this time, and, what you learned about it, personally, that you could share through someone who may, experience a similar journey in the future?
Nurses are angels. I mean, that's because, especially, because I had to go by myself, and it is so scary, especially that first time, and you don't know what to expect. And you meet these nurses and they are just kind. And I mean, they're there because they want to help people. And it was amazing for me because every time I'd come in, like we'd talk as they're doing my labs and, getting the treatment. And the next week they'd ask me about something I told them about from the previous. I thought, how many patients do they have? And they remember one little thing. And so the book became a big part of that because every week they'd be like, so how's the book coming along? How's the book coming along? They're like, you finished it. I can't believe you finished it. And it's like I had this whole team of cheerleaders in the cancer center.
Now, one of the things you talked to nurses about was this book, Living Landmarks of Chicago. Did you start it during lockdown? Was it kind of already the process when you got your diagnosis, and how far along were you? And did that kind of keep you kind of occupied on something else while going through this?
Well, I actually started it. I started researching it in September of 2019. And I had I started writing it. I was, you know, we actually had a launch party scheduled for March 26, 2020 at the Blackstone Hotel, and got the call March 10th that it was canceled because they were one of the earlier ones to cancel. And I completely agreed with the decision. But after that, and then I think it was March 13th, traffic on my site, the local tours just plummeted because everybody's on lockdown now. And I had to step back and rethink the concept for the book, because originally it was about telling the story behind the landmark, but then here's what you can expect to see today. Well, that kind of changed. It's like, who knows how long we're going to be on lockdown, when you can, what's going to happen to these businesses. And so I had to figure out what that meant. And I'm a huge history buff, so that just meant turning around. But I ended up writing most of the book while I was undergoing chemo, too. Long answer for a short question.
But there are office buildings, there's theaters, there's concert venues, there's art museums. There's so many different buildings in Chicago. Just drive down any street through our neighborhoods or through downtown, and everyone has a story to tell. A few that I just picked out, and just if you could share a couple of little nuggets that we can find in the book. How about the Wrigley Building right there on Michigan Avenue?
Hey, the Wrigley Building William Wrigley he's fascinating. He's a trip. I could read and research and maybe write a whole book about him. His big thing was he started giving away promotions with the soap, and it was baking soda, and there were umbrellas, and finally he landed on chewing gum, and that was the one that stuck. So he made his millions with that. Took some time. He made, lost, made, lost, made, lost. But he did so because of advertising. So the big thing about the Wrigley Building when it opened, and what shocked everybody, was that he did not put his name on the side of the building. And he's like, I didn't, because that's what people expect me to do. So it was just, it's a fun chapter.
and always doing the unexpected. Couple blocks away, the Chicago Theater. A lot of people are hoping for concerts to reopen, and hopefully that'll happen in the near future. But what a little something that we can of information for the Chicago Theater.
Well, the Chicago Theater was the first downtown theater for Balaban and Katz, which they had started. Their parents owned a grocery store, a merchant store, and the older two brothers and the sister Ida decided they went to a Nickelodeon, and they thought, wait, this is the business to be in, because that people are paying in advance. You don't have to worry about them coming back later, saying the fish is spoiled or anything like that. You don't have to worry about overstocking anything, because people show up, they give you the money without even knowing what they're buying, and then they go in. So they bought this little Nickelodeon, and then they built I think it was a Circle Theater, but it was the first one with air conditioning, because the older brother worked at a cold storage factory. So he took that and turned it into air conditioning for the theater. And then they just kept building. They started building these elaborate movie palaces, and the Chicago Theater was the first one that they built downtown. And when it opened, there were lines. They had something like 230 police trying to keep everybody, make them behave. It was the event when it opened.